Hello, group. My name is Stuart. I'm sure all of you know me by now. Um, I go by the the label is the record keeper or the agenda. I never wanted this to be the case, though. I wanted to engage in the group just like everyone else. I wanted to be a part of the group. I didn't want to have this assigned role. I feel like I'm being exploited. I feel like people are using me just to remember things, especially Julius, and he doesn't even notice how it affects me. This overuse of memory is tiring at times, and honestly, this needs to stop. Um, as many of you know, I'm a pediatrician, and I know how to interact with people, outside of the work, inside of the workplace, but when I leave and go to group settings, I feel a little more unease. I feel this way because I don't know how to interact with people outside of my work, and I'm not ashamed to say it. That's just what it is. Therefore, I bring things from my work to group meetings because I feel more comfortable that way. I feel like every time I bring something up in the group, it becomes sensitive. It becomes there's baggage tied to everything that everyone says, and it all interconnects. And I feel like I'm the primary cause of this misunderstanding between people. But on a positive note, Julia said that I'm progressing. I have progressed over the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I feel pretty high self-esteem from that. And I hope I get support from everyone in the group. However, since everyone wants a recollection, I'll go ahead and start with Bonnie. I feel like, as the group leader or recollection, I have to say that Bonnie had a rough childhood, and she built this kind of inferiority, feeling of inferiority growing up just because of her looks and her intellect. And although Bonnie didn't say it specifically, I feel like she has this envy towards Rebecca for being so good looking and being so successful, but also getting by on her good looks sometimes. But at the same time, Rebecca is offended by Bonnie trying to get with Philip. So this gets confusing. Bonnie is jealous of Rebecca, and Rebecca is jealous of Bonnie for trying to get with Philip. Bonnie tries to use this complex vocabulary to talk to Philip, and I feel like, this doesn't really get anywhere, and Rebecca is not getting anywhere with Philip like Bonnie is. And I guess as we're talking about Philip, we should go ahead and mention that no one really talks about Philip. As a matter of fact, no one even talks about not talking about Philip. He's like a ghost. He doesn't, he has so many intellectual and smart things to say, but he doesn't ever seem to take the spotlight. Now, I've been accused of talking about everyone's issues but my own. I feel this way because I really don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want to be in the middle of things. I want to be on the outskirts and observing things. And while we get to that, I'll go ahead and explain why I was deemed the group cameraman. The reason being is that when I had a dream of my daughter was drowning in quicksand, instead of trying to help her, I essentially took pictures of her as she was drowning. And that's morbid, but that's how I got the name. So, as it turns out, if I'm the cameraman, I'm seen as an observer. But if I show my opinion, I'm controlling. So where do we go from there? It just seems like everything's a no-win situation. I can't get through to anyone because of the way I'm perceived by the group. Of course I feel concerned. How could I not? The group's perspective of me is so engaged in my memory. Why do people call me out for speaking the truth? That's the real question. And of course, Julius will probably mention this later.